Good evening, everybody. I'm sorry about so many delays, but after having my computer SSD drive finally die on me, and I tried every avenue that I could to get it up and running so that I can, have a detailed video, edit it the right way, show exactly what I want you guys to see, understand what it is I want you guys to understand, and so forth. But anyway, I am going to give it to you how I have it. So here I have my Mingda D2. On this one, I do have the faceplate. This little stop bar, I do have that. It's packed away at the apartment. But for now, I have a little metal rod right there, stopping it so it doesn't go overboard. But here's what I've modified. So on this one, what I'm going to do is I have a custom X stop where all these wires are going to go right here, where this barcode is at. I have a custom X stop, and that's where the electrical wires are going to go. I have TPU holding it from the top gantry because before this electrical wire was resting on my prints and it would knock them off their support. And also I went ahead and printed this because this one is lighter, yes, but it's so thin that when I start to print it would rattle. So putting this plastic one, it didn't rattle. Also, the extruder, I changed it. Why did I have to change it? Well, let's look at this one. This is the original extruder stepper. And what was happening was I would do the calibration test to 100 millimeters and I would only get about 80. And it would frustrate me. And for the longest time, I didn't understand why. Because the motor was doing exactly what it said. The temperature was correct, and I couldn't understand why. Well, come to find out, the motor itself died. All right, not a problem. So what I was trying to do is I was trying to have one of my spare motors. I was trying to take the teeth that grips the filament off of this and put it on a new one. Well, you can't. This is, let's see if I can get that. All right, so it's fitted at 5 millimeters. But when they put that on there, they also slammed another piece of metal. I don't know if you can see it, I doubt it. But there's another piece of metal that they jammed in between that prevents it from coming off. I tried everything I could to get it off. I wanted a breaking the bottom part. I wanted a breaking the Molex connector. So that is dead. But it wasn't working to begin with. So what I wound up doing was, like I did with this one, actually what I'm going to do with this one, I apologize, when it dies, this one's still stock. I took a Creality motor, a 42 millimeter motor, I put it on. And then I used a standard brass extruder, I'll call it teeth, so that it can grip the filament. But on top of that, I had a left-handed metal extruder arm with the spring. So I went ahead and changed that. So then I have the Creality motor on there. And then I have the red left-sided extruder arm. And that has been working like a champ. And I was able to connect the heat brake, the heat choke, into that extruder arm. So that way, the thermistor, everything is the same, stock, nothing's changed. I did add a blue silicone sleeve from 2 Trees that I bought. I put it on there, working like a charm. Original thermistor. Um, and then this is a cooler that I found on Thingiverse. This is a 3020 fan that I have running. Now, I'm not gonna lie. The original fan that was on here died while the machine was on. Me, instead of turning the machine off and disconnecting it, what did I do? I disconnected the fan while the machine was on, and I forgot that the motor blew. So while it was still on, I connected the 2 wires and shorted it on the board. So now I have this 3020 permanently running, and I haven't had a single issue since. But I'm able to print PET-G at 80 millimeters a second. And also have this Saval magnetic flexible bed. And like I said, it's been printing like a champ. I modified the filament holder. I'm going to include this. I also found this on Thingiverse. This is not what I normally use. The normal arm is packed away on my apartment, but I had this laying around and it's been working since. So I have this filament holder. I put the filament sensor at the bottom and it accepts the filament here. Passes through, loads it up, and then on this guy, the fan, the 40 millimeter fan, finally died. This is one of my complaints. Everything is mostly proprietary. Like this, I did on the fly using electrical tape. See, I Frankensteined it so that I can get a replacement 40 millimeter blower. And so far, it's been working perfectly fine attached to this that's also available on Thingiverse, and it works. But finally, this 40 millimeter fan died. Gives like a huge, like a really loud whining sound. Same thing as this one was doing, so I had to swap that out. So I did the 3020, I did a brand new 40 millimeter. This one finally died, so I'm swapping out the 40 millimeter. But look how they have it set up. Now, this is not a standard thing where you go on Amazon and buy a fan, disconnect the fan attachments in order to readapt it, in order to get it to work on your printer. No. This is something that you should be able to go on Amazon or eBay or wherever and purchase a fan and do a one-on-one swap. But here, you have to disconnect it from this Molex type connector. Now here's the catch-22. When you disconnect it from here, depending on how it's wired, the polarities might be reversed. So here where the red is positive, on another retail fan, the polarities are, that's negative. So you have to be very careful on when you connect that. So if you connect it and it doesn't work, swap out the wires where the red is, put the black, and where the black is, put the red, and try it again. If it works, it's because the polarities are reversed. And it should get the fan spinning. But other than that, once you get the hang of that, it works. I actually have heat shrink that is intended for this small wire that I did on this one. And you can tell it's all nice and neat and packed in there. I didn't want to take it apart. Again, everything that I can find from Thingiverse I will include. This housing, Thingiverse, this left-handed metal extruder I bought on Amazon almost 8 months ago. I have it in my history. I'm going to include a link for that. This cooler I got from Thingiverse. I'm gonna include that as well. The Saval metal flexible bed I got on actually directly from Saval3D.com. I'll include that link as well. The fan that I use on here is the same one that I'm gonna replace this one with, and I'll include a link for that as well. The 40 millimeter blower, I'm gonna include that as well. This extruder from Mingda, I could not find. Um, I don't know where the replacements are. I personally have not had a good relationship with them. They stopped answering my emails. That's okay. It happens, you know. It ended on bad terms, but I have not been able to find this particular motor. So once you switch this motor out, if it dies, or if this steel head dies and you have to swap it out, guess what? You got to get a whole brand new motor and you have to get a whole brand new brass head. Now, you can do a dual gear extruder, you can do a single gear extruder. It's just you have to know how to log in and do a PID tuning and all that. Chris from Chris's Basement actually has done the best PID tuning for this machine. I'm going to include a link below because he did a really good job at that. But I will include again, the replacement extruder that I have that works. We would have to replace this to a new metal extruder. And then you could take this heat break and then the heat sink that's attached to that heat break and reattach it to the new metal extruder. I have found a plastic one. I'll see if I can find the link for that. And again, temporary setting right now until we get into a permanent apartment. Man, the momage is with her mom this week, so that works out. But again, anyway, this is this connector here disconnected, which has allowed me to show you what I'm talking about, the fans. And this is what was connected to that metal housing. And this is the extruder on this setup, which is still working, you know. So I'm not going to mess with it. But the fan did die. I believe I'm saying it right. Gexon has made a new cooler setup that will give more airflow to the heat sinks fins on this and get it going. And it's going to have a better air to the filament, which would increase your print quality. So I believe he's working on that still, and he's going to include that on a link somewhere, which is good. You know, you got to give credit where credit is due. I am incredibly grateful for that. And everyone, share your wealth. So this is the housing for this unit. This is the cooling. This is the 40 millimeter fan that when I turn it on sounds like a Boeing taking off. This is the 40 millimeter blower. But again, I'm only using electrical tape for now. Once I'm in my apartment permanently and I have my workshop set up, I'm going to do with my heat gun the shrink for that as well. And I'm going to include that because I buy that from Home Depot. So I'll include the link as well for the butane little heater that I have, plus the heat shrink that I have for this, and the what is it? I got the hardened steel tip from Simax 3D right there. I'll include that link as well. All right, guys. God bless. Take care. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you, everybody, for your time and your patience. I will include on my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook short video clips of this machine printing in its current setup. and I will swap out this fan ASAP and also include a short clip video of it printing on the above mentioned. I might try to see if I can get the same clip on YouTube. It is a lot of work, but it's worth it. I enjoy it, but I know you guys benefit from it as well. Anyway, guys, remember, at Dope God 3D, there's only one love. Take care, guys.